It's your planet, ladies and gentlemen. It's my planet. It's our planet, but it's mostly my planet. And it is not the Arnold Schwarzenegger's planet. Planet Hall coming back at you, baby. Yeah, man. So, welcome back, everybody. The Hog Man coming at you. Man, I for the past couple days I've actually been trying to do a video about the about Arnold Schwarzenegger's little stupid fucking horseshit address that he did with his Conan sword. Conan. Where he falsely equates the Proud Boys to the brown shirts, to the SS, and all this other stuff. But the audio was fucking up for whatever reason in both of these. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this MacBook out. But I can tell you one thing I figured out about this MacBook is that you cannot pull up Parler on any of the internet browsers. You can try it. You can't do it with Safari. You can't do it with Firefox. You probably can't do it with Chrome. I haven't actually looked into Chrome, but it's owned by Google, so it stands to reason. But anyway, yeah, so I'll just make him a footnote right now before we get into what I want to talk about today. And I will say this, that it was what you would expect from, he's an actor. Right. So, and again, when things like this happen, I always run it through the filter. One of the filters that I run things through is the question of why now? Why is this happening now? Especially when it seems like it came out of nowhere, as this little impromptu speech did. And I think I have an answer for that because apparently there's a rumor that the Commando movie is about to be rebooted. So there you go. He's got to kiss the ring and do the right thing and try to, twist the knife as far as Donald Trump goes. And that's fine. And see, that's the thing. They'll prop people like him up because he's a quote unquote Republican, right? So he's a former or maybe still sitting Republican. I don't fucking know. So, and really, I had a lot more to say about him, but I'm just going to move forward. It is what it is. People like him are going to say stupid shit like that. And it's funny that he brings up the Nazis in his past and he's trying to be all serious and oh, this is a painful memory for me. All right, Gordy Brewer, fucking Howard Langston. All right, Ben Richards. It's funny for him to do that and then to produce his message and have some kind of thematic music in the background while he's holding a prop from a goofy movie from the 80s. Yeah, but it's serious. I get it. Anyway, I didn't come here to talk to you about that today. Today we're going to talk about Donald Trump and his second impeachment. And this is, as far as I know, this is breaking news. It's been updated 14 minutes ago as I'm looking at it right now from Reuters.com. So we'll get into this and we'll read through it and I will interject where I feel it is necessary. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, we have an article from Reuters about Donald Trump's second impeachment. And for those of you who don't know, this is stemming from the demonstration that went down at the Capitol, which was funny because, all of a sudden the media has learned the word riot, and not only that, but they also learned the word insurrection. I'm proud of them. All right, here we go. House impeaches Donald Trump after U.S. Capitol siege. His fate in Senate hands. All right, let's see. The House of Representatives voted on Wednesday to make Donald Trump the first president ever to be impeached twice, formally charging him in his waning days of power with inciting an insurrection just a week after a violent mob of his supporters stormed the Capitol. The vote in the Democratic-controlled House was 232 to 197. Following a deadly assault on American democracy. Here we go with this American democracy shit. All these people, even Arnold's goofy ass said it a bunch of times. Our democracy. Our constitutional republic. On American democracy, with 10 Republicans joining the Democrats in backing impeachment. but it appeared unlikely that the extraordinarily swift impeachment would lead to Trump's ouster before the Republican president's 4-year term ends and the Democrat president-elect Joe Biden, who stole the election — they didn't actually write that, I'm just reading that in — is inaugurated on January 20th. The Senate's Republican Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, rejected Democratic calls to convene the Senate in emergency session to begin an immediate impeachment trial, according to a spokesman. Oh, now he's trying to do a little damage control. The House passed a single article of impeachment, a formal charge accusing Trump of, quote, incitement of insurrection, end quote, focused upon an incendiary speech he delivered to thousands of supporters shortly before the pro-Trump mob rampaged through the Capitol. The mob disrupted the formal certification of Biden's victory over Trump in the November 3rd election, sent lawmakers into hiding, and left 5 people dead, including a police officer. During his speech, Trump repeated false claims that the election was fraudulent and exhorted supporters to march on the Capitol. With a large presence of rifle-carrying National Guard troops inside and outside of the Capitol, an emotional debate unfolded in the same House chamber where lawmakers had crouched under chairs and donned gas masks on January 6th as rioters clashed with police officers outside the doors. Quote, the President of the United States incited this insurrection, this armed rebellion against our common country. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, a Democrat who puts the cunt in country, said on the House floor before the vote. He must go. He is a clear and present danger to the nation that we all love. End quote. No U.S. president has ever been removed from office through impeachment. What we have here? No U.S. president ever has been removed from office through impeachment. 3 Trump in 2019. I don't know if this is a typo or what, but this doesn't really make sense as I'm reading it. 3 Trump in 2019, Bill Clinton in 1998, and Andrew Johnson in 1868 previously were impeached by the House but acquitted by the state. Okay, that was just really awkwardly worded. The impeachment comes at a time of gaping political divisions in a pandemic-weary United States near the end of a tumultuous presidency in which Trump governed with a right-wing populist message preaching America first. I'm trying to save my commentary for the end, but that really pisses me off. But that actually says it all right there, doesn't it? That the idea of America first is right wing. All right, let's move. Democratic Congressman Julian Castro. I mean, if your last name's Castro, then and you have, shouldn't that be Julian? I don't know how he wants to pronounce that. Okay, a former presidential candidate called Trump the most dangerous man ever to occupy the Oval Office. Congresswoman Maxine Waters accused Trump of wanting civil war, and fellow Democrat Jim McGovern said the president instigated and attempted a coup. Some Republicans argued that the impeachment drive was a rush to judgment that bypassed the customary deliberative process, such as hearings, and called on Democrats to abandon the effort for the sake of national unity and healing. Impeaching the president in such a short time frame would be a mistake, said Kevin McCarthy, the House's top Republican. That doesn't mean the president isn't free from fault. The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attacks on the Congress by mob rioters. Trump's closest allies, such as Ohio Republican Jim Jordan, went further, accusing the Democrats of recklessly acting out of pure political interest. This is about getting the president of the United States, said Jordan, who received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Trump in a private White House ceremony this week. It's always been about getting the president, no matter what. It's an obsession. I'm choosing truth. A handful of Republicans backed impeachment, including Liz Cheney, the number 3 House Republican. I'm not choosing a side. I'm choosing truth. Republican Jamie Herrera Butler said in announcing her support for impeachment. 2 hers, huh? 2 hers out of the, how many Republicans? Handful? Okay. Drawing applause from Democrats. It's the only way to defeat fear. Impeachment, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you defeat fear. You have to, choosing truth is how you defeat fear. Choosing truth. Okay. Interesting. Does that apply to COVID? But I'm just asking for a friend. In a break from standard procedure, Republican House leaders refrained from urging their members to vote against impeachment, calling the vote a matter of individual conscience. Under the United States Constitution, impeachment in the House triggers a trial in the Senate. A two-thirds majority will be needed to convict and remove Trump, meaning at least 17 Republicans in the 100-member chamber would have to join the Democrats. McConnell has said no trial could begin until after the Senate was scheduled to be back in regular session on January 19th, one day before Biden's inauguration. The trial would proceed in the Senate even after Trump leaves office. McConnell said in a memo to his fellow Republicans he's not made a final decision on how he will vote on impeachment in the Senate. The Capitol siege raised concerns about political violence in the United States, once considered all but unthinkable. The FBI has warned of armed protests planning for Washington and all 50 state capitals ahead of Biden's inauguration. Trump on Wednesday urged his followers to remain peaceful, saying in a statement, "I urge that there must be no violence, no lawbreaking, and no vandalism of any kind. That is not what I stand for and is not what America stands for." High crimes and misdemeanors. Oh, they got little chapters here. That's cute. Impeachment is a remedy devised by America's 18th century founders to enable Congress to remove a president who has, according to the Constitution, committed treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. If Trump is removed, Vice President Mike Pence will become the president and serve out his... This is so fucking stupid. He'd serve out his term. He'd be president for a day, several hours, I don't know. The House impeached Trump after he ignored calls for his resignation, and Pence rebuffed Democratic demands to invoke a constitutional provision to remove the president. The House previously voted to impeach Trump in 2019 on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress stemming from his request that the Ukraine investigate Biden and his son Hunter ahead of the election. And what do you know? They were actually doing shit, as Democrats accused him of soliciting foreign interference to smear a domestic political rival like Barack Obama. This is so fucking dumb. Oh, this is so hard to read. This is really so hard to read. The Senate in February 2020 voted to keep Trump in office. Wednesday's article of impeachment accused Trump of incitement of insurrection, saying he provoked violence against the U.S. government in his speech to supporters. The article also cited Trump's January 2 phone call asking a Georgia official to find, that's a quote, votes to overturn Biden's victory in his state. That is actually a misquote, but surprise, surprise, he was saying he's looking for X amount. And look, one of Donald Trump's biggest hangups is he's not very articulate. So I think anyone who's exercising good conscience, a good conscience, understanding of what he said, he's basically saying, yeah, this is what I need to win. Not, hey, can you manufacture them? It's, yeah, well, I just need this and I win. All right. During his January 6th speech, I think I read this. No, I didn't. Okay. During his January 6th speech, Trump falsely claimed he had defeated Biden, repeated unfounded allegations of widespread fraud and irregularities in a, quote, rigged election, told his supporters to stop the steal, show strength, fight much harder, and use very different rules as he promised to go with them to the Capitol, though he did not. If you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore, Trump told his supporters. Democrats could also use the Senate impeachment to try and push through a vote blocking Trump from running from office again. We'll come back to this. Lawmakers delivered speech after speech wearing masks amid the COVID-19 pandemic. This is a moment of truth, my friends. Democratic Congressman Jerry with a G Connolly told his colleagues ahead of the vote. Are you on the side of chaos and the mob or on the side of constitutional democracy and our freedom? Wow. The left has, and that's the end of this article, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's talk about it. One of the things that last quote, I'm going to lead off with this. The left has effectively killed satire because of their gross lack of self-awareness. And I don't know if it's like a willful ignorance, like that parent that has a child that's a piece of shit, drug dealer, been in and out of jail, arrested a bunch of times, but still believes that they're a good person. I don't know if it's that level of delusion or if they just legitimately have like some kind of cognitive blind spot to everything that they've been doing. But anyway, let's move forward. My thoughts on this impeachment. Well, number one, if Donald Trump is to be impeached, if he is responsible for the actions that took place at the Capitol last Wednesday, then I would therefore submit that Maxine Waters is responsible for Trump supporters being shot and killed, right? She's the one that said, confront them, get up in their face, let them know they're not welcome. So she should be on trial for murder, right? For soliciting a murder, for contributing to a murder. No, not several. There have been at least 3. Or Nancy Pelosi should be on trial for the same. Or how about Kamala Harris? She should be on trial for literally bailing out rioters, for soliciting funds and also donating to bail out people who then went back out, burned shit down, broke shit, beat people up, and in some cases killed them. But ladies and gentlemen, we are beyond calling out the double standard. And I said this to a friend I was talking to this week. There's no point in calling out the double standard anymore. They know it exists. They just don't care. So the question then becomes, what are you going to do? There's no point in trying to reason or rationalize with these people anymore, in my opinion. There is absolutely no point. It is too far gone. And to be honest, as one of the funny things about reading this article that made me want to choke was them talking about healing. And I know it was one of the fucking limp dick Republicans that said it. They don't want healing. They want you to assimilate, to conform to their ideals, or they want you ostracized and or destroyed. That is it. And this whole notion of reconciling, maybe it'll happen after a civil war. Because I am of the belief, and have been for quite some time, probably going back to about August of last year, whenever we were in the breadth of the protests / riots throughout the country, I said, the war is inevitable. It absolutely is inevitable. And this is my opinion. Could be wrong, could be right. But I think it's inevitable at this point. The lines are drawn. We are way too far gone from any level of establishing a norm or a compromise. And the other side is, it's about winning. So, they have a media apparatus that will demonize and castigate people like myself. Apparently, I'm a white supremacist because I voted for Donald Trump. And they won't stop, right? Like, what is the point of impeaching a man literally days before he leaves office? Well, I think it serves 2 purposes. Number one, they actually mentioned in this article, and that's to keep him from running in 2024, which I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of don't want him to. I'm not going to lie to you. I think he did a phenomenal job for what he faced on a daily basis. And no other person could do what Donald Trump did in withstanding the constant assault, harassment, barrage from the media, from Hollywood, from pretty much everybody who didn't vote for him. And even some who did. So, I don't know that him running in 2024 is, I don't know that that's necessary. I would like to see someone else, but to be perfectly honest with you, I'm probably not going to vote for him anyway. I have zero respect. Look, I was never a fan of the Republican Party. Never. I've always been registered independent wherever I've been registered. I've voted for both Democrats and Republicans in the past. Well, I should say a Democrat in the past. I voted for Bush in 2000 and what year was that? I think it was 2000. I voted for Obama in '08, and then I voted for Trump this year. So I'm far from a partisan. I am a person who basically, mentally, I create a checklist of the things that are important to me. And that list, obviously, there's some fluctuation because at certain times, certain things become a priority more so than others. But whichever candidate checks more boxes on that list, they get my vote. That's how I have done it. That's how I will probably continue to do it at the local level. So I've never been a quote unquote Republican because I've always seen them as cowardly, as weak, as ineffectual. I've always seen them as, these haughty, just kind of like, they're just like, okay, in this article, I'm sorry, I'm a little dumbfounded right now, but part of it is frustration and I'm trying not to curse. Like in this article, them saying, oh, well, this is highly irregular. And that's all you get from Republicans. They will call this out. Well, I say, sir, this is highly irregular. And what are you going to do about it? Oh, I'm going to say that this is bad and you shouldn't do it. And what else you got? Oh, I'm going to continue to say it's bad. So, I've never been a supporter of them as a party. I'm sorry, hang on 1 second. All right, there we go. So I've never been a proponent of them as a party. Got some Taco Bell coming, man. So they are what they are. For the longest time, I've said the only Republicans you really know, Ted Cruz. Who else you got? Mitch McConnell, but only because he's the face of the party. But I mean, who else is there? Who is a worker that's a Republican other than Ted Cruz? Name one. So, I've always seen them as all talk, all bark, no bite. And I think everybody knows that. That's why the Democrats have been able to run roughshod over the political discourse, the social discourse, the cultural discourse of this country. Because Republicans just punt. So, I'm not of the belief that Donald Trump is necessarily the answer moving forward. I'm just not. At that point in time, he'll be damn near 80. It's time for some new blood. Somebody who has his fire, somebody who has his passion, somebody who has his appreciation for freedom and that kind of independent mindset. Somebody who has that less government is good mindset. Absolutely. But I don't think it necessarily needs to be him. As back to this impeachment, look. So for the first purpose I think it serves is to prevent him from running in 2024. Because they're legitimately afraid of him. They have been since he announced he was running. The second reason is to send a message to his supporters, to us, to people like you and I, that no, there will be no quarter. Bellum Romanium, or Romanum. I think it's Bellum Romanum is the Latin phrase that I'm thinking of. And it basically means war like the Romans. Nothing is off limits. Fight to win. Fight dirty. And that's what they do. And that's what we need to do. Because understand, these people have no interest in reconciliation. They have a full interest in punishment, a full interest in twisting the knife, in asserting themselves, in eradicating any opinion that's not similar to their own, as they are voting to expel Republican Congress people, as they are as they're talking about a truth and reconciliation campaign for people who supported Donald Trump. So these people have as Joe Biden refers to Ted Cruz as Goebbels. So these people have no interest in reconciliation. They do not. And the sooner we get that through our heads, the better off we'll all be. I don't like to leave you with a problem and no solution. So I would encourage you to start making preparations, because I don't know what's going to happen. I would start buying, and I was for a while. I need to start doing it again. I actually have a little bit of a supply built up right now, but start buying some emergency food. If you are a legal firearm owner, start buying ammunition if you can find it. If you can find it. But I do not foresee good things coming from this presidency, from this administration. I don't see good things coming from the government in general. So what we do is we just keep moving forward, but we make ready. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully, people kind of make the right decision, and hopefully people tone down the. Hopefully, there's no violence during the inauguration. And I'm not saying that for Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden. I'm not saying that for Kamala Harris. Fuck her too. If they both got into a car accident on their way home and died, I would do backflips in the backyard. First, I'd have to learn how to do a backflip. I'm saying that for those people who put their livelihoods at stake, at risk. I'm saying that for people who, because they're going to throw the book at you, and you just have to be ready for that. If that's what you're going to do, you have to be ready for those consequences. Like these people that they're trying to charge with sedition. So, hopefully people kind of simmer down. The emotional reaction is usually not the smart one. So, and there's levels to this. There are levels to this that do not involve going into breaking into Congress, into the Capitol building and destroying shit. That's not really going to do anything. So I understand their frustration, believe me, and I share it. And to the people who had the balls to do that, well, look, there's a part of me that says, hey, hats off. But ultimately, that's not the right thing, especially from the standpoint of trying to affect change. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully everything passes by as peacefully as it can. But look, I'm not going to blame those people for that. When you cage and corner an animal and leave them no out, in fight or flight, if flight is no longer an option, then what is it? So, to blame them to me is, look, they deserve some of the blame. I'm not going to say they don't. But let's not act like there hasn't been a media apparatus that has been denigrating people for simply having a different worldview. The same media apparatus that was browbeating us and bloviating about tolerance and acceptance. So no, I absolutely blame Democratic politicians for this. I absolutely blame the media for this. I absolutely blame people who are too stupid, too ignorant, too self-satisfied to actually dig deeper and see what's going on. And to see how people who just sit back and watch their fellow Americans be censored, be fired, be persecuted, and do nothing. So when the violence happens, it's your fault too. It's your fault mostly, in my opinion, because you've left these people no other option. You've left them no other option. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I got for you today. I will, by the way, hello to the Rumble family over there. I think we're like 7 strong over there. So it's building. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I got for you today. I will get up with you guys again tomorrow. If not tonight, I might do another one tonight because I really want to talk about what's going on with Twitter and how they're in the crosshairs of the international community. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, peace.